Hi guys, welcome back to Not PC with Rob and myself, Mark. This is where we talk about the latest tech news and we get a fellow tech creator on to talk about themselves, which is a good job today because I'm going to struggle to talk about anything, Rob, bearing in mind I've had about 4 hours sleep last night.
Yeah, so where have you been?
Barcelona with Oppo.
What are you doing there?
Went to see Oppo and they revealed the Oppo Find X9 Pro and the X9.
Oh yeah. Did you ever play with the wacky Hasselblad 10x optical zoom attachment thing?
I did at the briefing, and I'm still waiting for my copy. It's been stuck somewhere in customs or something, apparently, which is no one's fault. But yeah, annoyingly, that didn't make the review. But yeah, so we might come to that later. But yeah, just very tired. What are we talking about today? Before we introduce our guest, we are going to talk about the iPhone. Now, again, I have no idea if you have an iPhone because I've not been on my own Discord server for the last 10 days. And sorry, guys. And the new headset from Samsung. We'll have a chat about that. I haven't got one of those either, but we can talk about it. And Max, who puts the outline together for this, has mentioned that we're also going to be talking about the adverts that are appearing on Samsung's smart fridge range. No idea what that is. We probably won't get to that. The reason we probably won't get to that is because we have a pretty awesome... We've always got awesome guests on here. And this is no disrespect to people we've had on previously, but this is definitely our biggest guest in terms of sheer length of time he's been on YouTube, size of his audience, and he's just a lovely guy as well. Daniel from ZONEofTECH. How you doing?
Hey guys, thank you for the warm welcome and thank you for having me on the podcast. It's great to be here.
Thank you for coming on. We've spent quite a bit of time together, haven't we, on various trips and all over the place.
Yes, we have. I'm trying to remember when was the first time that we met, Mark. I don't actually remember because I remember watching your videos back in the day, like your Mac Mini reviews. Those were awesome.
Thank you.
And I think maybe it was one of the Honor trips, maybe? Trying to remember.
It might have been. I mean, I think we were... It was one of those things where we were in the same room a lot, but we perhaps never
exactly.
Because these... events are just crazy, aren't they? And you're kind of running around filming things and stuff. And
wasn't your first date on the back of a quad bike?
Oh, it probably was the Slovenia.
That was the Honor, the Slovenia event.
Wow, that was January this year, was it?
That was January. It feels like ages ago.
I mean, we'd met before then. It wasn't the first date.
We have, we have met before that.
We'd flirted since before that, but. Yeah, I gave you a lift around Slovenia. How weird this industry is! A lift around Slovenia on the back roads on a quad bike.
On a quad bike, yeah, that was awesome though.
It was a great trip, wasn't it? Lake Bled, wasn't it? That's where we went to.
Lake Bled, yeah.
Daniel, for people who don't know, we'll do a very quick fire for you to begin with. Who is Daniel, and what is ZONEofTECH?
Right. Well, hello guys. My name is Daniel Roter. If that surname sounds a bit weird, it's because I'm originally from Transylvania, Romania, so vampire land essentially. And I moved to the UK 13 years ago for my degree, so I studied computer science, and then I was also doing YouTube on the side. And my channel, I've been doing YouTube for a long time. My channel is called ZONEofTECH, which I started back in 2011, so 14 years ago, and then I had another channel before that. But yeah, essentially in terms of what I do is, well, tech content. I cover smartphones, smartwatches, laptops, and any gadget that seems interesting. And I also like to focus on what's coming up next. So we've got a series on the channel called Leaks and Rumors where I talk about anything interesting that Samsung, Google, Apple, and everyone else is about to do.
2011.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me this, and I didn't realize quite how long ago it was. That's so long ago, isn't it? It's incredible. I'm trying to think what I was doing in 2011. It wasn't YouTube. But you're one of the OGs. I mean, I can't kind of gloss over that. It's absolutely... You've been there pretty much since the start of when tech YouTube was... Even back then. I mean, Rob, were you watching tech YouTube back in 2011?
I can't remember what I was doing yesterday, let alone 2011.
Really good point. But also, it's... I mean, I've only done it since 2020, so for me, nearly 6 years feels like a long time. But does it feel like as long as it's been?
No, actually it doesn't, because, I don't know, to me it feels like... Maybe it feels like 6 years, I would say. definitely not 14 years. Well, technically 13 because I created the channel in 2011, but I uploaded the first video in 2012. So 2011 when I created the logo, the channel, and I was planning everything. And then I actually uploaded my first tech video a year later. But I had a gaming channel before then, which I started in 2008. So 2008 was actually the first time I started doing YouTube.
Is that first video still there?
That first video, I think it's still there. Yeah, I don't think I've deleted that. That's on a different channel, though.
Of course, would that have been a gaming video then? No.
Yes, I started with a gaming channel, and I was playing a game called Silk Road online, which was like a fake World of Warcraft. Yeah, it was a really fun game. I used to play that a lot, and that's how I got started.
Nice.
So how many years in before it sort of started becoming proper professional, you started needing a team and that sort of stuff? I'm curious, because that's an awfully long time to be doing YouTube. Presumably for a fair while it was casual, and then it sort of, gain traction, and then you're like, oh, hang on, I could make a living out of this. How did you arrive here?
Well, I never envisioned the channel taking off. So initially I had a gaming channel that was just, that was just for fun, you could say. Like I was making one video every 2 months. I didn't have a schedule or anything like that. But I always wanted to start a tech channel because I was really passionate about tech from a young age. So my plan was to finish high school, finish the exams, get into uni, and then start a tech channel. So 2012 was when I had my exams to get into uni, and 2011 was when I, got everything ready. And I was like, okay, once I've passed the exams, that's when I'll upload my first video. But I got everything ready: the logo, the name, like all the assets, the banner, all of that. So once I passed those, got into uni, August the 1st, 2012, that was when I got started, and I uploaded the first video on ZONEofTECH. And then throughout my uni years, I was just doing it as a side thing. So, I would wake up at like 5 or 6 in the morning, go to the library to record there because the lighting was much better than what I had at home. It was tough trying to balance out my degree, the exams, the courses, and then also, doing YouTube on the side. But I was just doing it for fun. Like I had no plan. I didn't even think it would generate any income at all, ever. I was just doing it because I loved it. And eventually that grew. And by the time I graduated, I had 100,000 subs. I had a couple of sponsors, and I could actually do it as my main job. And I was like, this is crazy. This is insane. That was my dream. And after that, I just did it for 2 more years by myself. And that's when I was like, okay, I want to make more content. I want to make better content. So that's when I got an office, and that's when I started hiring. So I got my first team member in 2017.
Which is a long time ago as well.
It's a long time ago as well.
Yeah. And back then as well, that was quite, I think that was quite rare, wasn't it, for people to have a team of any kind on YouTube, particularly with tech YouTube. It's typically a one-man band thing, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was that rare. I think, obviously, Linus had a big team back then, too. I think Marquez had some team members then, too. But yeah, it wasn't that common, you could say. Whereas nowadays, I feel like that's fairly common.
Yeah. Let's quickly crack on with the quick fires. We're going to come back to a couple of questions in a second, Dan. But there's a few things we'd love to know from our guests before we get into the meat of the podcast.
Sure.
What's your daily carry? What are you using at the moment in terms of your phone, your wearable, laptop, etc.? What's in your bag?
So most of the times I have 2 phones on me. So I've always got an iPhone, the latest iPhone. In this case, I'm using the 17 Pro Max, which I just switched to from the Air that I was using until a few days ago. And then on the Android side, I just use whatever is interesting to me or whatever is the latest gadget. So in this case, the Pixel 10 Pro Fold.
Snap.
Laptop-wise, I'm using the M3 MacBook Air. Tablet, I'm using the brand new M5 iPad Pro. And wearable-wise, I'm using the Whoop and then also the Apple Watch Ultra 3.
You got an Ultra 3 as well. There's not many of us, are there, that bought that? That had the 2 already, because it doesn't make any sense.
I didn't actually have the 2.
I did.
So for me, I'm upgrading from the Series 10, you could say, to the Ultra 3.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah. Bigger jump. Favourite piece of tech ever?
That's a tough one because I've got a lot of them, but I would say the Apple Vision Pro is one that definitely stands out to me. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it's up there.
Because you travel with it, don't you? I'm sure you've told me before that you're quite keen on taking it out with you.
Not anymore, not right now, but I used to travel with it, yeah.
I've never done that. I've done the thing where I've put it into my suitcase and then looked at it and thought, firstly, it's taking up half the suitcase, and then you think I've got to wear that outside on the nah. So I'm impressed with anyone who can do that and continue doing it. Favorite piece of tech this year?
I would say it's definitely the Galaxy Z Fold 7, like by far. It's the thinnest foldable in the market, factually the thinnest foldable in the market, and it just feels great. It's very light, super thin, feels awesome, very premium. Yeah, absolutely love it.
This is my favourite question. Your tech guilty pleasure. So something which you know you probably shouldn't like and might be a bit crap, but you do.
That's a tough one. I would say, once again, the Apple Vision Pro. Like, a lot of people hate on it because it's expensive, it's heavy. But I think once you try it, it's very magical. Like, being able to have a full-sized, ultra-wide monitor for your Mac that you can just place anywhere, you can just move around, that's just incredible. And watching movies inside of it is like the best experience I've had in my life. Like, not even kidding, it's insane. Better than going to the cinema, better than watching it on an OLED TV. Like, it's just mad. It's amazing for now.
It is incredible for that, isn't it? Yeah. Have you got the M5 version? Have you still got the...
I do have the M5. I haven't tried the M5 yet. Like, I literally unboxed it yesterday. So I haven't set it up yet. I've tried it for a few minutes, but I will be doing a comparison, the M2 that I'm using compared to the M5, and seeing what sort of upgrades I actually notice.
Because it's slightly heavier, someone told me, if that's true.
It depends. Like, the headset itself is actually the same weight. The reason why it's listed as heavier is because it comes with the new strap in the box that has some counterweights to make it a bit more comfortable. So that's why it's heavier, but you can buy that strap for the Apple Vision Pro M2, the original, and in that case, they would be the same weight.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear when the reviews start trickling out how much of an effect that the counterbalance has on the comfort. So even though it's technically heavier, it might feel not heavier, if that makes sense, because of the weight distribution. Because that was the problem, wasn't it? It was so heavy at the front.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying out that new strap, because it does work on the old decrepit M2 version, doesn't it? So
yeah, I've actually ordered one for my M2 Vision Pro, and that's coming out in November. So that's being delivered in November because it's been back ordered for a couple of weeks. That's out of stock everywhere. So a lot of people, well, whoever bought a Vision Pro M2 likely also bought that.
I wonder how many they made.
Probably not many.
Maybe
100.
Is there much in the way of spatial video content for the Vision Pro now it's been out for a while? I know there's the occasional big fanfare about there was a Metallica concert, wasn't there? And what was it like? There was some sort of submarine-y thing at one point, wasn't there? Has there been much of that going on?
I don't have.
Yes and no. Yeah, Apple has a bunch of spatial videos that look amazing. They're quite short. They're about a few minutes long. They look incredible. Like, they've been specifically filmed for the Vision Pro. So yeah, those are the best quality videos that you can find. And then you've also got some third-party apps that have some 3D videos inside. But I would say the best experience is if you use Disney Plus, for example. They've got a bunch of 3D movies that you can just stream. And those look absolutely incredible. Like, that's the best 3D experience that I've had in my life. Way better than going to the cinema wearing those glasses. It's just really good for that.
Yeah, but like you say, even just the regular 2D stuff, just watching Disney Plus as it is in Vision Pro is incredible, isn't it? But
it is.
Metallica thing, have you seen the Metallica one, Daniel?
I've not. No, I've actually not.
That's amazing. That's just ridiculous. It's, without giving the game away, but like you say, they're all quite short. That they feel like demos more than anything else.
Exactly, yeah, they do.
So to your question, Rob, there's not, from what I've seen, there's nothing. It's going to take a while, I think, to get that. I guess it's partly down to the production costs, and the potential audience for that content is so small, isn't it? It's me,
exactly.
Basically.
Well, there's a comfort thing as well, isn't there? So I imagine that they've established what the optimum period of time is that most people can, can tolerate being in the 3D, because you start getting motion sickness. I've got a Meta Quest 3, and before that I had PSVRs or whatever, so I was fairly hardened to PSVR, but it's quite different watching 3D content where you're just sitting and you're watching a film to being in a game, and you sort of got a bit more movement and stuff. I've watched just a little bit, because there's even less 3D content available on the. I don't know why Zuck hasn't pushed that kind of thing further, because the Meta are doing some amazing things with VR, with AR, and with the glasses and all of that sort of stuff. But I think there's a huge gap in the Quest 3 world for that kind of content. Unless maybe I've missed it. I don't know. Maybe you can get Disney Plus on that. I haven't looked. But yeah,
I'm not sure if you can get the app. I'm not sure if you can get Disney Plus. I know you can stream some 3D content if you, again, get some of these third-party apps. I'm not sure about Disney Plus, but it seems to me that Meta likes to focus on gaming. Like the Quest 3 has so many games. It's incredible for that. But then when it comes to productivity apps and even 3D videos, there just isn't as much content as on the Vision Pro.
Have you taken any of your own spatial videos and watched them back on your Vision Pro? Does anyone do that?
I have. Yeah, I have. I haven't filmed many with the Vision Pro itself. I think I filmed maybe like one or two, but I have tried that on the iPhone. Not many times, because when you shoot spatial videos, it actually limits the resolution to HD 30, right? So you are heavily limited in terms of the resolution. So unless you want to watch those back on the Vision Pro every single time, then I tend not to use that. But for photos, that's something that I do really enjoy, like converting a 2D photo into a spatial photo on the Vision Pro. That's just incredible, and it works so well. It's like flawless.
Even not on the Vision Pro. So with iOS 26, the Photos widget will 3Dify photos, which I don't think they announced that on the keynote or anything. I just happened to notice because I have the Photos widget, and then it was bringing up some nice family moments or whatever, and then I was like moving my phone and going, they've 3Dified the widget. That's mental. So no, it's more pleasing than it should be. On the wallpapers, obviously, on the iPhone, there you can spatialify those as well even from a 2D.
Exactly, yeah,
image, which is super cool.
They don't all work well. Like, you have to have a wallpaper or a photo that's like layered, and then it can separate those layers, and then add some parallax effect to those.
It's quite good at finding them, though, because for ages the wallpaper feature has had, it existed for a while to find photos that would work well with the overlaid timestamp, that kind of thing. And then obviously now they've extended it so that the clock you can stretch to fill in the background and that sort of stuff. But and the suggested photos, whatever algorithm they're using, is quite good at finding good photos for that, for spatial.
It is very good, yeah.
Sorry, I've taken us off track, as I usually do. Were there any more questions?
That was a quick fire. The only other question we've got, Daniel, is how's the finger?
It's pretty good. It's fully healed up now. Like, I've got no marks, it's fine. Like, right now it's fine.
We won't go into all the details on this, because I think anyone who knows Daniel and follows him on Twitter and etc. will know what happened. But you did have an issue, didn't you, with the Samsung, the Galaxy Ring?
Yeah, so long story short, I got my Galaxy Ring. It was a review unit from Samsung that they gifted me back in January of this year when I attended the Samsung Unpacked for the S25. And I used it every day up until last month. But like a month in, I noticed that the battery life started dropping from the 7 days, which I was getting initially, to maybe like 3 days, 4 days, and then it started dropping to 2 days, 1 day. So yeah, it was pretty bad. So because of that, I just stopped charging it every single time. So a lot of the times I just had it on my finger, basically dead, not being charged. Anyways, so I was in Hawaii attending the Snapdragon Summit back in September, and on my way back, keep in mind the ring was not even charged, it started swelling on my finger. So the battery started expanding while it was on my finger, which was a bit scary because I was seeing that happening in real time and it was like constricting my finger. And yeah, I was literally about to board my flight, which was quite crazy. So I told the staff at the gate that okay, this is happening. Do you have a nurse that, could come in, literally help me take this off? Because I was a bit worried what would happen when I would be, in flight. Like, what would happen then? Would it start swelling even more? My finger was not bleeding or anything, but it was painful already. Yeah, unfortunately, they had no nurses. They sent me to the hospital clinic. They did tell me that unless I can get it off, they cannot allow me to board because it's, flight risk. I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. I would have been worried anyways to board. So, yeah, the clinic was actually closed when I got there. And then they sent me to the city hospital. And once I got there, the process was quite easy. Like, they were able to take it off in like minutes, basically. Yeah, that's essentially what happened. And I tweeted about it, and somehow that went viral. So my tweets, I had a few tweets about it, but they got, I think, like 70 million views in total, something crazy like that. Probably even more now. And yeah, I got contacted by like news outlets, and yeah, I don't know. It's been a very weird experience because I never expected this to blow up as much as it did.
I mean, they reacted to it quickly, didn't they? Which is good. I mean, hands up, I've got a Galaxy Ring. I've worn it a lot, and I've had no issues with it. Although
Really?
I'm aware of.
How's your battery life?
So me and smart rings don't really get on. So what happens is I charge it up. This isn't just the Galaxy Ring; it's the Ultra Human, all the ones I've tested. I wear it. For the first few days, I start looking at the stats and stuff, and I completely forget, and then it just dies. So most of the rings that I've tested are dead after about 2 weeks.
Got it.
And I think that's nothing against smart rings themselves. It's just they're not for me at all. I don't need them. But so once I've gone beyond the review period, I just almost forget that I'm wearing them, really. So I'm probably not the best person to comment on that, really.
Are you still whooping?
I'm not. No.
You gave up on the whoop.
Again, I gave up on that because I had to keep charging it. There's a theme here, isn't there? I'm aware that, again, all kind of conjecture and stuff, but I'm aware that there have been issues with the Ultra Human Ring with some of my creator friends where they've had similar issues with battery life. Not swelling, but there has been battery problems. So I think maybe it's an element of that technology. I don't know.
Yeah, and I gotta say, it is a bit scary when you've got a ring on your finger that swells, and it swells, by the way, on the inside because the outside is titanium, so the only place it can swell is on the inside. So it constricts your finger, and Samsung actually has a guide on their website. They have like 2 points where you can cut it, and again, it's one of those things where you have to tell the staff that, hey, don't cut it here, cut it here. Yeah, so it can be a bit scary, I gotta say. So that's why I don't have a ring anymore. I haven't even asked Samsung for a replacement ring, and I don't think I'm gonna wear one anytime soon.
Understandable.
In terms of wearables, then, so are you now down to the Whoop and the Apple Watch? That's basically your wearable setup?
Pretty much. So I've been using the Whoop for the past 2.5 years straight. I've not had this off my wrist for a single day, so it's been great. This is the new Whoop 5. And in terms of the Apple Watch, I've always had an Apple Watch on my left wrist since 2015, since it launched, right? So for the past 10 years, I've been using an Apple Watch. And this is my first Ultra that I'm actually sticking with, because I had the Ultra 1 for a few days, didn't really like it. Then I got the Ultra 2 in black. I loved that. I used it for a month. Then I sent it back because the charging was really slow. But now charging is much faster on the Ultra 3. The battery life is even better. So this is actually the first Ultra that I've actually switched to. So yeah, I'm really happy with it.
I love it. I've gone from loving it to then being a bit annoyed by it because I've tried a lot of other Android watches that generally speak, and Garmin's as well, that generally speaking have much better battery life. But I've come back to the Apple Watch because I switched back to the 2 before the 3 came out. I've now got the 3, and it's just, again, it's partly the Apple ecosystem thing, but it just works with everything. And okay, the battery could be better, but you get so used to charging it. It charges fast. I love the way it looks. Have you got the black one, the black titanium? Or have you got the regular titanium?
I've got the black titanium.
I think it's the best one, personally.
Yeah,
it looks the best. Although it does.
I'm finding the charging on it, like the charging speed, because for me, I know Apple advertises an 80% charge in 45 minutes. I'm not getting that. Like, I uploaded my review a few days ago. And I was saying that I'm getting about 60%-ish in 45 minutes, never 80.
Yeah, about the same. Yeah, I charged it yesterday just before I left the hotel, and it didn't charge anywhere nearly. It charged enough to get me through the day and it not be a problem, which is fine, whatever. But it didn't do it as quickly as they advertise.
Exactly.
Does it come with the second gen charging puck in the box? I only ask because
no.
it doesn't.
Does it not?
No, sorry, the puck you mean, not the brick.
Not the brick.
It comes with the puck.
Yeah,
It comes with the puck because I think you need a minimum 30-watt charger, don't you, to get it to fast charge?
I think
Apple says 20.
I know the second gen MagSafe puck won't charge at full speed unless you've got a 30-watt charger, I'm pretty sure.
That's for the iPhone. So
Is
for
that
the
for the
Apple
iPhone?
Watch, yeah, that's for the iPhone. So for the Apple Watch, they say you need a 20-watt charger to charge your Apple Watch, to fast charge your Apple Watch. And I've tried that. I've tried a 30-watt charger. I've even tried a 100-watt charger and a 200-watt charger, and it just does not charge to 80% in 45 minutes. So I don't know how Apple got that number. I've looked at their testing, and I've replicated that. I just couldn't get to that number.
Same for me.
The reason I asked about the puck is it was a bit of a leading question, really, because there's a bit of a hoo-ha about the M5 MacBook Pros not coming with a power adapter, isn't there?
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
I taking the chargers out of the box for phones, I can kind of get on board with that because everyone's just got drawers full of the things. But when you've got a high-powered computer that if you don't have a sufficient power brick, you can quite easily get it to consume more power than you can replace with charging.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's kind of not okay.
I think that's a really bad move from Apple. Like, the fact that they removed the charger, a lot of people said, oh, it's because of EU regulation. That's not true. First of all, the UK is not even the European Union anymore, right? So, but they still removed it from the UK. But anyways, even in the EU, that's not a rule. Like, that rule only applies to smartphones, not laptops, right? And by the way, the rule doesn't say, oh, you don't include a charger in the box. It simply says, make sure your phone has a USB Type-C port. That's it. So a lot of manufacturers start removing the chargers from the box to basically cut down on e-waste, which, is true for phones, whatever. But for laptops, like you said, you need a more powerful charger. And it's very likely that if this is your first MacBook, you probably don't have a previous MacBook charger that's, 45, 60, 100 watts. So then you would need to buy a new charger anyways, in which case you'll probably buy a MacBook charger and give Apple more money. So I feel like this is the reason why they've done it, to just boost their revenue.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. They've gone too far with that.
Yeah, 100%.
Have you had much sort of your audiences? Have you guys had much in the way? Because your reviews will be out by now. Because the trouble is it's a spectacular device, like that exceeds your expectations in pretty much every way. Not that anyone should be buying one because the OLED ones will be coming next year, but then then they go and spoil it. But yeah, how has the comment section reacted to this?
From my perspective,
pretty annoyed, I would say. Yeah, pretty annoyed.
So opposite for me, and hands up, I completely forgot to mention this in my review, partly because I went down the route of being very excited about the laptop. Like Rob says, it's still the best MacBook Pro you can buy unless you need more power, and it's the best version of that base model they've ever made, and the M4 was before that as well. So I got a bit carried away with that and totally forgot about the power brick thing and thought, oh no, I will get roasted in the comments for this. I think we've had one comment from someone saying, what about the power brick? No one else seems to have mentioned it. Whether that's a UK, I mean, because it's still in the US, isn't it? They're still offering it in the US,
which is weird. Yeah, in the US they do give you a power brick, but not in the UK or, as far as I'm aware, anywhere else.
I wonder if it's partly that. Maybe, I mean, I'm not sure about you, Daniel, but most of my audience is in the US. Maybe that's part of it. But it didn't be picked up. Thankfully, because I forgot about it.
Actually, I'm going to backpedal on my. I previously said that I'm okay with them having removed the charger in the box for phones, because they did that for the iPhone 12, didn't they? They did that for the iPhone 12, and conveniently also introduced MagSafe that same cycle.
Yeah,
and at that time, MagSafe could charge at whatever it was. Was it like 15 watts? Or was that later? Was it 7.5 watts? I think it was 7.5 because at that time...
I think it was 15.
Was it 15?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah,
And
so anyway,
7.5, that
whatever
was
it
the
was.
standard speed, yeah.
So I got an iPhone 12 and I was excited about trying this MagSafe business. And at that time, Daddy Tim told me that I needed a 20-watt charger, which they also conveniently introduced alongside it. So I bought my iPhone 12, my MagSafe puck, and my Apple 20-watt charger, because I do like the Apple chargers with the foldy prongs. That's cool. And then you fast forward, 3 years later, and you've got the MagSafe 2, which charges at, 25 watts or something. And then in order to use that, you need the 30-watt charger. So they didn't include one in the box with the 12, but then I bought a puck and a 20-watt charger, and then 3 years later bought another puck and a 30-watt charger. So I think there's actually been a net increase in my charger-related waste as a result of them doing that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of e-waste, isn't it?
Does that make sense?
Totally.
Yeah, 100%. Because if you look at other charger manufacturers like Anker, Ugreen, ESR, and so on, they don't really do 20-watt chargers. All of their chargers are much more powerful. 65 watt, 100 watts, 200 watts, right? They're crazy powerful. So you could buy one of those and then you use that for I don't know how many years, 5 years, 7 years, right? And you'll be good. But Apple doesn't really sell that. They recently introduced a charger that does 60 watts, but it's dynamic power, so it's 40 to 60, which again is not that powerful. So yeah, I feel like Apple's trying to gradually make you spend more money by doing these things with their chargers.
Now, on the subject of giving Apple money, you were asking if I had an iPhone 17 at the start of this.
Let's come to that in a second.
Okay.
Very quickly, yeah. In fact, we'll include that in the news section. But just before that, breaking away from tech and stuff, I want to geek out a little bit more with Daniel about YouTube. What gear are you using at the moment for filming your videos? What's the sort of the production setup that you've got?
Okay, well, right now I'm actually at home because the team is filming some videos, so I didn't want to disturb them. So I'm actually using the Oppo C1 webcam to record this from. So it's actually one of my it's my favorite webcam. The quality is really good for a webcam. But at the studio, we're using the Lumix S1 Mark II. So that's the camera that we're using. The S1. I've also got the S9, which is my travel camera. Love that. And then for the microphones, we're using the Sennheiser MKH416, which is an incredible mic. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And then, we've got a wide selection of lenses. We've got the Laowa 100mm f2.8 macro lens, which is my favorite macro lens ever. We've got a 20 to 100 Sigma lens. Yeah, and in terms of devices, like I said, I'm using the M3 MacBook Air, but I don't really edit anymore, aside from very quick and simple content. And then my team uses MacBook Pros, so M4 Max, M2 Max, M1 Max.
Quite a setup. Do you film anything at home? Is it all in the studio, or do you tend to occasionally?
Everything is filmed in the studio. I don't film anything at home. No. It's just whenever I have a call, I usually have these from home, sometimes from the studio. But yeah, everything gets filmed in the studio. Yeah,
I think it's the best way to do it. I find myself filming stuff occasionally in the kitchen and what have you. Just because I don't know about you, but I struggle to be in this space 5 days a week. I can't do that. I have to be out and about doing things elsewhere, which often means I find myself filming in weird locations. But but you've got a very nice studio. It looks.
Oh, thank you.
Just talking about YouTube as well, because going back to what we were talking about earlier with the going from gaming content to tech, and we're kind of mainly talking about YouTube there. But you've managed to grow really big followings on Instagram, etc. as well. How have you found that the transition from even if it may not be a transition for you, but switching from long form to short form and back again, and the way that particularly Instagram, I'm just after some tips here, basically. How inconsistent that is with the way videos perform. How have you found that difference?
Well, for me, the thing is, I got started with long form. So short form, we started doing that about 2 to 3 years ago, so it's still fairly new, you could say. And I wouldn't say that I've mastered short form. I feel like short form is very random. Like you can do a video that, like we've had videos that did like 20 million views, like short form content. And I was like, what? And then the same, kind of like the same topic, but the following year got 20K views. And they can be so random. Not even that, but you can have the same short form content uploaded to TikTok, Reels, and YouTube Shorts. And let's say the TikTok maybe gets like 5K views or 100 views, but then you get 300K on YouTube and then 50K on Instagram. So even the same piece of content can perform very differently across all of these platforms. So to answer your question, I don't have a formula of success for short forms because, I haven't discovered that yet. I think there are way better short form content creators that you could ask that would give you an actual answer. For me, all I can say is just it's been very random. Sometimes they do really well, sometimes they do really poorly. And like I said, even the algorithms between the platforms, they do differ a lot. So yeah, what about you, Mark? Like, how did you find?
Same as you, and I started long form. That's the thing that makes sense. It's always made sense to me making that kind of content. So going to short form, we've experimented with loads of stuff in terms of chopping up. We still do this occasionally, chopping up long form videos and repurposing them, filming dedicated stuff, and some like you say, some of it works. You can't work out why it's worked, and like you say, you try and replicate that thing that worked, and then it doesn't work again. And generally speaking, on YouTube, although it's not always the case, but 9 times out of 10, if you keep doing the same thing, that's how you grow on YouTube. We all know that's pretty much the way it works. It doesn't seem to be the case on Instagram. And I think you've probably summed it up a second ago when you said the other guys who are short form first. We know a lot of them ourselves. We meet them out on press trips and things. They focus solely on that, and because of that, they've kind of they've not nailed it, but they're growing at a much faster rate. However, most of them, I don't know if you found it, they'll say to me, "Oh, I need to get into long form. I need to start making long." And they've got the opposite problem. Yeah. They've got a YouTube channel, and that one isn't performing as well as their other one. So it's exactly the same as you. It's not easy. I think also what's interesting with Instagram in particular is that you get people, possibly like yourself, who have this huge growth, and then it kind of just tails off, doesn't it? And I've had it at a much lower volume. It just sort of stops, doesn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. Like our Instagram following has been fairly consistent over the past, year or so. Yeah, so it's one of those things where I feel like when it comes to creating short form content, creators that are used to making long form, they're finding it tough to make short form content because we are used to making long videos, and packaging all of that into like a 1-minute clip, that's tough. But then it also works the other way around, where short form content creators are like, okay, how on earth can I expand this 1-minute video into a 10-minute video? Like how? Like there's not enough stuff to talk about. So it is interesting seeing how you've got these two groups of content creators. And then at the same time, like you said, a lot of creators that do short form, they're trying to switch to long form because realistically, short form, they don't really generate any revenue, or, you need like hundreds of millions of views every month to generate a decent amount, which very few people can achieve. Whereas with long form, you don't need that, and the revenue is significantly higher. So that's why a lot of these creators are trying to switch to long form so that they can have some revenue. But it is tough trying to come up with things to talk about for 10 times the length.
Oh, on the subject of short form content, how annoyed are you guys with what YouTube has been doing to your shorts, turning you into a smeary mess?
I hadn't. But is this the quality, the kind of reducing?
Yeah, it looks like it's been super compressed at the server end, and then perhaps locally the client app is AI upscaling it or something. It looks AI upscaled, but they wouldn't be doing that at their end, would they? I think it's compressed at source and then decompressed on device. That's what it looks like, or what my uneducated guess would be. Either way, it looks horrible.
I don't watch much of my own content, so I didn't notice this until someone said. But have you spotted that, Daniel, with your shorts?
Not really. I'm just like you, Mark. I don't really watch my content back once it's up. It's just, I find it weird to do that. I don't know why. I watch it before it goes live, of course, but not after. And
have you not seen other people's? Have you not seen other people's shorts?
I don't watch.
I've seen other people mentioning this.
Yeah, no, it's quite apparent. Yeah, go and check out some shorts and look at people's skin tones, and it's not a good look.
I will. I don't tend to watch much YouTube Shorts. I tend to use TikTok and Instagram for my short form fix.
For me, it's YouTube Shorts.
Oh,
The
interesting.
most.
Maybe I should start watching YouTube Shorts. Right, let's get to the news, guys. iPhone. So going back to what you were about to say, Rob. So Daniel, just so you know, that the background with this is that Rob normally gets the new iPhone. And this year, the last time I spoke to him, which was a couple of weeks ago now, maybe slightly longer, he hadn't done that because the original order was messed up by Apple, basically. And
Oh, right. What happened?
Well, I don't know exactly, but essentially, you do the pre-order business. So I was there.
Yeah.
I'd chosen my model, colour, all the rest of it. Pre-filled out the finance application because if I can get 0% finance, I will, and then I'll keep that money in the bank. And that was all good to go. So I was there 1 p.m. on the Friday, ready to go. I was in the App Store within 90 seconds. Hit order. It buzzes away. I get my finance documentation through from Barclays instantaneously. And then, I don't know, it just sort of looked weird. And I've bought enough stuff from Apple that I know what it should look like. And I was like, okay, maybe it's launch day, probably really busy. It'll just be stuck in a queue and it'll get processed at some point. And I came back to it the next day. It still wasn't in my order history. Got in touch with customer service, said, no, we've been swamped. Don't worry about it. If you've got an order number, everything's fine. It'll update. If you haven't, then get back to us on Monday. So I got back to them on Monday. They said, right, we'll escalate it. And then I didn't hear from them for like 2 weeks. And then about 3 weeks later, I got an email from some representative at the Ireland HQ saying, oh yeah, sorry, something's gone wrong with your order. You'll have to put it through again. And I'm like, what? No, if you screwed it up, then I've shown my intent. I've now got an orphaned loan with Barclays for like £1,000 or something, which they've already started taking the direct debit for, which I can't cancel because then that will ruin my credit rating. So yeah, I've got an orphaned loan and no phone to show for it. So I was of the opinion that I was going to tell Daddy Tim to stick it this year. But
you've got one, haven't you?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't. No, I still don't think you can get Pro Maxes. I still think they're back ordered for several weeks. But I think I might still get an iPhone 17 because of the whole tariff situation, where due to Samsung's domestic camera sensor ability in the US that Sony don't have, all the your Germans and your other sort of industry insiders all seem to suggest that Samsung camera sensors might be the norm for financial reasons in the next iPhones, and I don't get on with Samsung sensors. I mean, I'm dailying a Fold 7 at the moment, and it's the least worst Samsung camera I've ever used. But in isolation, they look fine, which is not something I could say previously. I always found that it took the shot too late, or there was some element of motion blur. And I just don't like Samsung's colour science. But if you use Expert RAW, you can tune it to your preferences. But in family situations, I've got 2 small kids, so I'm just snapping photos of them with the grandparents and them playing on the swings and whatever. In isolation, the photos that I get out of the Fold 7 I can live with. They're quite nice. But in every situation where myself and my wife have been at the same event, the photos that she takes on her iPhone look better every time, in my opinion. It's a taste thing, largely. So I do like the reliability and just the flavour of iPhone photography. So yeah, if next year's iPhones are going to have Samsung sensors, I think I want to get this last one that still has Sony ones, just in case. Does that make sense?
It does. Like you say, it's a taste thing, and you've always been very honest about how you feel about the Samsung's photography. And I mean, we don't know about the future. I mean, is it rumours? Maybe it's beyond rumours now. It probably is going to happen, isn't it? But we don't know what impact that's going to have on iPhone photography, I suppose, as devil's advocate.
I think it's also a matter of image processing. Like, you can have whatever sensors you want, but it's also a matter of, like, okay, how do they actually process the image coming out of that sensor? And Apple's processing is actually very similar to Samsung's processing, or should I say Samsung's processing is now very similar to Apple's, because they've tweaked theirs to basically match Apple's very closely, which is both a good and a bad thing. Anyways, in my opinion, I think manufacturers like Vivo, Oppo, they have significantly better cameras, not just in terms of the hardware, but also in terms of the processing. So I would say if you really want the best camera, at least for me, I would definitely go with one of the Chinese manufacturers, because like I don't think anything comes close to what they can achieve camera-wise.
I agree with that. They're very good. We'll come on to that in a bit, actually. But just sticking with the iPhone, Daniel, you mentioned earlier, I heard you say that you had the iPhone Air, and then you went to the Pro Max.
Yes. So I have both the Air and the Pro Max, and I used the Pro Max for about a month. And I uploaded my review last week, and then, two or 3 weeks ago. And after that, I switched to the iPhone Air. So I've been using the Air for the past few weeks, and I loved how thin it was, but I had two big problems, which, everyone knows what those issues are: the battery life and the camera. And because of that, I had to switch back to my Pro Max. So right now, I'm like fully switched to the Pro Max. I do miss the Air's thinness and how amazing that phone felt in my hand, but the battery life's pretty poor. I was getting like half a day. And the camera, not having that telephoto for me, I can live without an ultra-wide, but not having that proper telephoto, that was a huge downgrade for me.
Yeah, so I'm using the Air. I'm sticking by my word. I've still got the Air.
Oh, right.
I said in my review I'm going to use it for a year. However,
a year. Wow.
Yep, I know. And however, the Pro Max is in my kitchen. I haven't put it there purposefully. It's there to do certain things with occasionally, but it's just there. So every time I make a coffee, it's just sitting there looking at me in all its orange glory. I just keep looking at it thinking, life would be so much easier if I just switched from this to that. And I need some help, I think. I need some professional help in terms of stopping me from just picking up the Pro Max, swapping because it would be such an easy thing to swap as well. It'd be so quick. It's just, I know the eSIMs can be a bit of a pain sometimes, but they do tend to work in terms of swapping it. So I could switch to the Pro Max tonight and everything would be fine, because I've not had quite as bad battery issues that you've had, so I do get more out of the Air, but it's a really weird battery. That's the best way to describe it, where some days it's...
In what way?
Well, some days I'll get to 9 o'clock at night and it'll have 30% remaining.
Really?
Yeah, honestly.
And that's without you using the MagSafe battery pack?
Yeah, 100%, yeah, without charging it. And it's
wow.
off the charger at like 6:30 in the morning. I've used it all day. Not intensively. You're possibly using yours more intensely than I am, but I'm using it as my phone. It's my main phone. So I'm always getting it out of my pocket and checking things and stuff. And then some days it will not get past 4 o'clock. It'll hit the 20% remaining thing. And I haven't yet worked out what it is that I'm doing, or if I'm doing anything differently that is making that happen. The one thing where it does really struggle is traveling. So if you do a lot of traveling, forget it. Just forget it. Or take a battery pack. I go every night. I kind of have this thing now where I always have a battery pack with me. I kind of cling on to it like it's the most important thing in the universe. I never used to do that. And but the camera. So for me, it is that the telephoto, the lack of that is very frustrating, but I do miss the ultra wide as well. And for me, having used the iPhone 16e for 6 months, it just feels identical to the iPhone 16e. I know it's not the same camera system, and a lot of people have told me that, but I think I mentioned this in my 2 week later review. It just feels like I haven't upgraded from the 16e at all with the camera.
Interesting. Yeah, because the camera sensor is better.
Yeah.
It's the same sensor as in the iPhone 17 and 16, so it's a bigger sensor, not quite as big as the Pro models, but still, it is a better sensor. And obviously, it's also thinner. You got the upgraded front-facing camera. So yeah, it is better than the 16e objectively. But it's quite interesting hearing you say that. Oh, actually, it feels like the 16e.
I think it's just because I think what it is, you go into the camera app and you've just got 1 and 2. That's it. You don't get any of the focal lengths unless you start, and you get, is it 10 times
digital,
which again is exactly the same as the 16e. And yeah, the photos probably do look a bit better, but I'm not A/B test. I'm not looking at them side by side. So it's a placebo thing, I guess, really. But I've got to stick with it. I just need you guys. I need everyone to talk down off the ledge and not.
Okay, here's what I'll say. I feel like Apple has these two lineups of products. They've got the Air line and the Pro line. And the Air line would be, you know, the MacBook Air, the iPhone Air, even the Apple Watch Series 11. I think that's the equivalent of the Apple Watch Air. And then they've got the Pro line, where they've got the iPhone Pro and Pro Max, the Apple Watch Ultra, and the MacBook Pro. And they both follow like the same pattern, where the Airs, they do lack some stuff. They're thinner, they're not as powerful, the battery life is worse. And the Pro models, they're all thicker, uglier. But hey, they give you more ports, they give you more buttons, they can do more stuff. And it's always that trade-off. Okay, do you want to pick something that looks better and it's like more portable, or something that's a bit thicker, heavier, but does more stuff? So the question is like, do you follow your heart or do you follow your brain? What makes more sense? And you know, I feel like especially in the Apple Watch, in the case of the iPhone Air, the fact that at least for me, I had to use that MagSafe battery pack all the time, which made it thicker, made it heavier. And that also costs $100 or pounds more, which actually brings it to the same price as the iPhone 17 Pro. I feel like it just negates the whole idea of the Air. And that's why if you look at the sale numbers, the Air has not done well at all. Apple has actually cut down production to you know, extreme levels, basically.
So 80% the rumor was. They haven't confirmed this.
Something like that. Yeah. They've almost stopped. They haven't stopped the production entirely, but they've cut it down to a level that's very close to being, you know, almost stopped. So yeah, I feel like most people are just picking the Pro model over the Air because they're like, okay, it's a bit thicker, but hey, I get significantly better battery life. I get the upgraded cameras, so why not?
Yeah, I'll stick with it. I'll get I'll get absolutely roasted if I do that. Although it would be quite a good story, wouldn't it? Maybe that would go viral. Just quickly, the Oppo, the Find X9 Pro. This is on the list of news stories as well because you just mentioned, Daniel, just what you can get from the Chinese manufacturers in terms of the camera system, but not just the camera system. I mean, I've got the Find X9 Pro here. That is why I was in Barcelona. You've got one, haven't you?
I actually don't have it now.
Okay.
And I don't have it.
I hope you'll get it soon. The camera's amazing. Really good. It's got the Hasselblad stuff going on, so it's got all the you know, tweaks in terms of color science, all that business. But just without that, just the camera overall is fantastic. But the battery life is insane. It's got a 7,500 milliamp hour battery.
7,500. Wow.
Yeah, which during the press briefing for this in London, Ben, our friend, lover of tech, he put his hand up and said, "Is that legal?" Fair question. I mean, obviously it is. It's completely legal. It passes all the regulations, but it's at that point where it just sounds almost too big for, you know, taking on flights and things. But yeah, and what's impressive, because it's the silicon carbonide, whatever it's called, silicon kryptonite as I call it in my videos. It's still very thin, so it's still below 8 millimeters thick. The phone, so
wow.
It feels chunkier, obviously, than the iPhone Air, but it's still a, you know, it's not a thick phone. In my testing for this, my testing isn't like Ben, so I don't sit up all night and watch phones gradually deplete their battery life. But and he has done that, and it's worth. In fact, we'll put a link in the show notes. He's done his extreme battery test with, I think it was with the Find X9 Pro, the 17 Pro Max, and I think he did it with the Pixel as well.
Ben's great.
He's brilliant. I won't give it away, but it's 100% worth watching. But in my testing, which is very much more real world, after the first couple of days, which I left it to do all its updating and indexing and stuff, I got nearly 4 days battery life out of it. And this was
no way.
With a SIM card in there. I was using it pretty much as my main phone. I wasn't really picking up the iPhone very often, doing lots of photos and stuff for the review. Didn't touch a charger. In my review of the X9 Pro, there's evidence of that number as well. I think it was 3 days, 17 hours something, and it still had 17% remaining, which the operating system was suggesting I could get another 5 hours or something out of. It's almost like a 4-day phone.
That's insane.
Crazy.
Wow.
And
so what sort of camera specs does it have? Like, and how does it compare to, let's say, the Vivo X100 Pro, X300 Pro, and the Xiaomi 15 Ultra?
Yeah, so I don't have those. I don't know if you've got those.
I've got those.
Okay, so you can fill in the gaps with that. So I can't compare it directly against them, but it's they're all 50 megapixel. Well, 250 megapixel ultra wide and the main. But the big noise that Oppo are making about it is the telephoto, which is a 200 megapixel lossless telephoto. And it's really impressive, that, to be honest. You can, what's the optical focal length? So we've got 3 times and 6 times, and then 10 times, I think it's 12 point something. It's a weird number, 12.1 or 2 times lossless zoom that you get from that as well. And it's very sharp. It's a bit AI infused, obviously, beyond that, but it's just a lovely looking camera. It really is. And 120 frames per second, 4K in Dolby Vision. You can shoot it up there.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm excited to try it out. I should be getting a unit next week or the week after. So
awesome. And also we've got the weird telephoto converter thing.
Attachment, yeah.
Yeah, which I'm still waiting for that. That hasn't arrived yet. But
oh, right.
I've played with it, and that's bonkers.
Do you feel like you would actually use that in a real world scenario? Because you need to carry that with you. You know, it's big. It looks very awkward just shooting with that in public. Like, would you actually use that?
No, not in a million years. No, I don't know who it's for. And also, it hasn't. I don't think it's got image stabilization. So it's.
Oh, does it not?
No, I remember testing it, and it was you had to be fairly steady with your hand. Although again, the image processing made up for a bit of that shake and stuff. But very impressive. It's 10 times proper optical zoom as well.
And do you attach that to the telephoto, or do you attach it to the main module?
It just goes onto the module, so you have it as a special case, and it kind of slots onto. So the case covers obviously here, and then it slots onto a little kind of thing on the case, which keeps it in place, and you can very quickly take it off and put it back on.
I think it extends the tele.
Yeah.
Zoom, doesn't it? It doesn't go on the main sensor. The Hasselblad 10X is an extension of the already 3X.
Got it. Yeah.
But it does cover the entire thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to take it off if you want to use the other lenses.
I've seen some samples that Ben Geskin posted on X of the shots from the built-in telephoto and the telephoto converter, and the difference was like night and day. Like, it does make a huge difference. Again, it's very awkward to use, and I don't see people actually using something like that. But man, the quality difference was very significant.
Amazing, yeah. And it's there for it. They've obviously made it for a reason. There must be a market for that. I don't think it's in the UK, to be honest, but yeah, I'm very much looking forward to your thoughts on that phone, Daniel. When you
but a OnePlus 15, which is launching in the UK, I haven't seen much on it yet. I just know it's been announced. That's basically the same phone, at least design-wise. It looks the same, and obviously OnePlus is owned by Oppo, and I've done identical phones in the past. So, what do you think, and what do you know about OnePlus 15 compared to the Oppo Find X9 Pro?
I think all I can say about the OnePlus 15 is here's some photos I took with it, which I put on Instagram the other day. Well, in fairness, we have seen the design, haven't we, like you say, and the design is out, it's public knowledge. It does look very similar. I think the camera, it's not quite the same design as that, is it? It's got a different, slightly different layout of the camera module. But it looks very similar. I mean, different chips, obviously. We have different chips in both of them. It's the MediaTek in this one. I don't know. I mean, you have to reserve until the full review, as I'm sure you will as well. But it's an exciting time. If you, my conclusion for the Oppo was, if you're looking for a new Android phone now, you're spoilt for choice. I mean, the iPhone's a tricky phone to buy at the minute because of the Air, just taking your attention away from the phone that you probably should buy, which is possibly just the regular iPhone 17. There's not that much choice, is there? But with Android, I don't know how you feel about this. There's just so many good phones. You've mentioned the Vivo as well, and we've got the OnePlus coming up. You've still got the Samsung options out there, all of which are very tempting. Nothing. We've got a new Nothing phone. I've got the Nothing Phone 3A. I've got that somewhere here.
The 3A Lite.
3A Lite, which is this one here. It's getting a bit.
How do you feel about that?
It's getting a bit confusing with their models. If you throw in CMF to the mix as well, it's like where do we start with all this? I mean, that's 249 quid in the UK, that phone.
Yeah, I do agree. And I think the CMF Phone 2 Pro or Phone 2, even the naming is like so confusing. They got so many models now. The latest CMF Phone 2, I think that's 220 or 210 pounds, something like that. Like, there's like a 10 to 20 pound difference between that and the Phone 3A Lite. And their lineup is getting like so confusing because the A line was already the Lite line. And now they've got a pro model of the A, which is weird. They don't have a pro model of the normal phone, and now they've got a light phone of the already light phone.
Yeah, where do you begin with that.
Well, it's quite simple. Like, I don't know if you've seen, but CarPlay recently announced that they've surpassed 1 billion in revenue, which is insane. Like, that's like props to the Nothing team for that. But he also said that they're not profitable yet, so they're actually losing more money, which is insane. But it's expected, to be honest. So the reason why they're doing this and having multiple models and submodels and going back on what they've said is probably because of investor pressure. Like, they're trying to make it work, and they're trying to be profitable, and that's the only way to do that. And that's also why they're going back, like I said, on what they've already said. For example, I think like 2 years ago, Akis, he tweeted that they would never do 2 megapixel sensors like some of the other manufacturers, and now they've done that. Also, the glyph lights, I feel like that was one of the unique selling points of Nothing, like the transparency and the glyph interface. Well, the glyph interface is now gone. Like, on the phone 3A Lite, you've got one LED light, right? Like, what's up with that? So they are going back on their identity just to cut down on costs, which is a shame, but at the same time, I do get it.
Well, it might also explain why the latest version of Nothing OS, which has always been historically the fast, clean, lean, crap-free flavour of Android, and it's been really nice. I've really enjoyed every Nothing phone I have. And actually, going back to the Samsung sensor, they use ISO-cell sensors in the Nothing phone. And when I had a Nothing phone and whatever Galaxy I had at the same time, so I think the last Nothing phone I had was the Nothing Phone 2. So I would have had a S23 Ultra, I think. I got better photos out of the Nothing Phone 2, even though it had the same sensor as the S23 Ultra. Anyway, they've started baking in uninstallable meta services into Nothing OS. So it's got...
uninstallable, really?
You can disable it, but you can't remove it.
Oh, I didn't know that. I heard about the third-party apps, the bloat that they were adding, because from what I've seen, some of these companies, they pay $10 per install. And obviously, when you sell like millions of phones, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. So, yeah, that would explain why that started happening, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reserve judgment because I've not really used it yet, apart from unboxing it. But
I've not used it. I don't even have it yet because I got the email, the embargo email, but I didn't see it. Like, I was really busy. I went to the Creator Fest, so I didn't see it until days later. And then when I realized, I responded, it was too late to get a unit on time. So I think I'm getting the unit tomorrow, past embargo.
There's just so many devices at the moment. I've done the same thing with certain things. It's just keeping up with everything at the moment it's a nice problem to have, but it's tricky.
Exactly.
I don't know what the audience thinks about it. Guys, we're going past time here. I'm very conscious.
We're going well over, aren't we?
Yeah, there's certain things we haven't mentioned. I briefly mentioned Samsung's XR. What's it called? The headset. I've already
the Galaxy XR.
Galaxy XR, which at the moment is only available in or coming out in the US, and is that it? Korea as well? No UK date, is there?
I'm not sure about the UK launch.
No, none of us know, do we? Have you tried it, Dan? Have you had it in your hands, or?
No, I've asked Samsung for a review unit.
Yeah.
And they said, they don't have any samples yet.
I'm fascinated by it. I mean, we're both Vision Pro owners, and I'm sure the same as you. I want to see what... Because it's cheaper. I mean, it's still expensive, but it's cheaper than Vision Pro, isn't it, by quite a margin? Yeah,
it's almost, not quite, but almost half the price. And on top of that, here's the interesting things about it. So it's using displays that are slightly higher res, than the ones on the Vision Pro. On top of that, it's using the same number of cameras in roughly the same placement, the same sensors aside from LiDAR. It doesn't have LiDAR. And even the cameras have the exact same resolution as the Vision Pro, which makes me think that Samsung's probably using the same suppliers as Apple for most of their components. Yeah. Obviously, the chip is significantly less powerful. It's the Snapdragon XR2 Gen 2 compared to the M5. So like the performance is very different there. But it's way lighter. It's half the price. So it's quite interesting to me.
Yeah. Okay, we'll have to wait and see if we can get our hands on it. The other thing is their Trifold. So the Trifold it's slated for this 2026 release, isn't it? And I don't know how I feel about Trifolds. How do you guys feel about them?
Well, I've got the Huawei Mate XT. So I've had it for a few months. I've not used it properly because of, you can't really install Google Apps, so I couldn't really use it properly, but I have played with it. And it's really interesting having 3 devices in one: a normal smartphone, a mini tablet, and then a proper tablet in your pocket. But the problem is, obviously, physics, right? Like when you have a normal foldable, you have to double the thickness of whatever thickness the phone is. So if you've got, a 4mm phone, that becomes, actually it doesn't become 8, it becomes more than 8 because you also have that gap, right, in between. So it becomes something like 8.8, 8.5, or 9. However, with a trifold, that thickness is tripled. So even if you have a phone that's 3mm thin by itself, which is, no phone is that thin, right? Like the iPhone Air is 5.6. So that's like half as thin as the iPhone Air. You don't have that. But even if you did, when you fold that, it's going to be even thicker than 9mm. It's going to be like 10 or 11, again, because of the gaps. So I don't know. I feel like you would need a phone that's like 2mm thin by itself, or even less than that, which is just something we cannot achieve as of today.
No. I mean, again, because it comes down to battery technology, doesn't it, as well? And Samsung hasn't adopted the silicon kryptonite yet either. So I've forgotten the name of it. I've called it that for so long now. Yeah, again, we'll see what happens when it comes out and whether or not we can get our hands on it here. It's gonna be a limited run, isn't it? And it's clearly a test, isn't it, just to see how the market reacts to it.
Yeah, I'm curious too. Like, obviously, they haven't revealed it properly. They showed a prototype of it. Mm-hmm. They haven't showed it officially, as far as I know, like in a presentation, all of that. So I'm curious to learn more about it. Like, how thick is it? What sort of cameras does it have? There were some rumors that it would have a periscope module.
Okay, interesting. I mean, I've held and used the XT, the Huawei device, and I know what you mean about it being thicker, but it didn't. I don't know about you, but it doesn't. It feels reasonable, I think, in terms of when you realise what it's doing, what it can turn into. I didn't handle it and think, that's disappointing. I just thought, yeah, no, fair enough. They've done a decent job actually of this in terms of making it still usable as a regular phone in that form. And then suddenly, like you say, you open it up to this great big tablet. It's not for me. I'm not a huge tablet user anyway, but clearly there's a market there somewhere for it, isn't there?
Yeah, like if Samsung released a trifold that was, I don't know, 2.8mm thin or 3mm thin, like that, like in fully unfolded, then I would love to switch to something like that.
Interesting. Let's hope we get it soon.
I'm
2040 maybe.
I'm not convinced. I'm on my third foldable. I had the Honor Magic V2, I think, which was the first time I cared about foldables on account of it being pretty much the same thickness as a normal phone. That was the first big sort of foldable phone that could get away with, claiming that it was basically the same thickness as a normal, like Pro Max or whatever. I really enjoyed that. And then I got the V3, didn't I? Which is a fantastic device. I didn't bother with the V5 because it seemed like an incremental upgrade, and I got this Fold 7. I never use the inner screen. I know it's there. I think the reason I got the Fold 7 was because it was the best foldable that Samsung I've ever made. I've always had beef with them previously. They were too thick, or the front display was too narrow. But I think now that the front display on the Fold 7 is so usable as it is, I never feel the need to actually open it up. Does that make sense? Whereas with earlier ones, I imagine earlier Fold users, because it was so narrow, it was just usable, but only so usable that every now and again you would have to open it up if you really wanted to get anything done. I think with the width of the Fold 7's display now, there's I'm never prompted to open up the inner display, so I don't think foldables are for me. I don't think the 3D headsets are for me either, because I've got a Quest 3. I use it to play the odd game, but I couldn't see. I've tried to use it for productivity. I think we did a podcast once, didn't we, where we did the whole thing wearing our headsets.
We did. I forgot that. Yeah, I had Vision Pro on, and you had the Quest, didn't you?
Yeah, that's the most or least productive I've been wearing a 3D headset.
We should have done that today. We should have had down all of us wearing the Vision Pro or the Quest.
That would be cool.
guys, we have gone way over time for Daniel. You've given us all this time. Really appreciate it. I know how busy it is at the moment as well, so really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me on. It was a lot of fun, and honestly, thanks a lot. And hopefully, we can do that again at some point in the
absolutely
near future.
will. Hopefully, we'll have trifolds and all sorts of things we can talk about them.
And the hand.
I do have to make an observation that Daniel, you are. Well, apart from being by far and away the biggest guest in terms of your fame, because I know we had MacBook on, but I mean they've got what 1.2 mil. It's just they're small fry, aren't they, compared to ZONEofTECH? But all of them. So obviously, we know and love their content, and we watch them. This is just a me observation, and but all YouTubers have a YouTube voice. So I don't know whether you're putting it on for this conversation, but you sound exactly like you do on your channel, more so than any other guest we've had. I've
really?
noticed.
Okay.
Does that make sense, Mark?
Yeah. Does that include me? Have I got a YouTube?
It doesn't. Yeah. No. Yeah. You've absolutely got a YouTube voice that you don't use on this.
Didn't even know that.
Yeah, you're on your main channel. I mean, obviously on your Tech Diaries channel where it's a vlog, you're you, but on your main videos you are a caricature of yourself.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Whereas Daniel sounds exactly.
Yeah.
Daniel is he's just him. He's the real deal, straight up all the time. Also, it seems.
Yeah, I do have friends and people telling me that I do sound very different when I record my videos because I do have a teleprompter, so I do read my scripts off of that. Whereas in real life, I'm more like this, like more relaxed and whatever, more natural. But if you're telling me that, okay, in this podcast I sound the same as in the normal videos, yeah, I take that as a compliment because that means, in the videos I seem more relaxed than maybe I am.
Oh, that's very much a skill, isn't it? Teleprompter. You didn't get on with that, did you, Mark?
Oh, it's a real skill, yeah. I went into it very naively thinking, this can't be difficult, can it? And it's one of the hardest things I've ever done in my entire life and gave up after about 4 videos.
It saved me so much time, honestly. I do highly recommend getting on.
Yeah, I'm impressed by anyone who can do it. It's a real skill. You realise why people on TV spend years and years mastering it, but it's and you can't tell as well. It's you've nailed it.
Oh, thank you.
On that note, guys, we'll sign off. Obviously, we'll put we don't need to, but we'll put links to Daniel, your world in the show notes. And Rob, we will catch up next time when you may have an iPhone.
I still think it's about 3 weeks lead time. So even if I ordered one today, which I can't do because I've got an outstanding loan until that orphaned loan situation is sorted out, I'm not going to get one.
That's true. Okay, well, you won't have an iPhone, but we'll have lots more stuff to talk about, I'm sure. Cheers, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.